Good afternoon, 2020 doers, the DOER Advisory Board, and of course, our virtual audience watching our celebration at home. I would like to welcome all of you to the inaugural Digital Opportunity Equity Recognition DOERS virtual reception. I created the DOER program to acknowledge the tireless efforts of people who are working to close the digital divide in communities without access to affordable, reliable broadband. It is a great privilege for me to formally recognize the honorees who are the true doers in this nation. You are the individuals, organizations, corporations that have been dedicated to meeting and improving the connectivity needs and lives of Americans in extraordinary ways. Month after month, year after year, each of you have worked diligently to get your communities connected to broadband in a rapidly changing digital age. And that's because all of us here today recognize that closing the digital divide is an issue that must be met with urgency because our country cannot afford to leave behind communities of color and low-income communities, tribal communities, and those in rural and urban America across. Everyone is impacted by the lack of broadband connectivity that millions of Americans do experience every day, especially in the communities and regions across the country who feel forgotten. But the honorees here today have ensured that people feel seen and are heard. They've overcome hurdles, monetary, geographic, and more, and steadily made changes in their respective communities to close the long-standing digital divide. As we gather today, of course, the pandemic has altered nearly every aspect of our lives and disrupted the nation. COVID-19 has exacerbated inequities that have already existed. And in families, that includes the pursuit of education, the ability to work from home, safely contact loved ones, and the digital divide was at the center of it all. Children, many of whom are from African American, Latinx, and low-income households, are falling behind, months behind approximately, and 15 million of them lack adequate broadband connectivity for the devices and that they need to participate in distance learning. If we don't resolve this issue now, this is going to have far-reaching, long-lasting consequences for our youngest students and their lives for years to come. Also, with millions of Americans out of work, losing jobs, we must ensure that they have a way to get to access government services online so that they can get the support that they need during these trying times. They'll also need broadband connectivity when new jobs come around, acquire those new skills, or obtain the job that requires them to work from home. We clearly have a long way to go, but I see hope. And especially I see it here today through the work of the DOER honorees who have rapidly responded to the connectivity needs of the American people with innovative approaches, true partnerships, and connecting families. So although this isn't quite the celebration I was expecting to have for all of you when I first thought of and started this program, it is in many ways more fitting that we have a virtual reception connecting to each other through the internet. I wanted to publicly honor all of you who have made such positive changes in the lives of people nationwide. Today, we recognize the 22 groups, individuals, nonprofit organizations, and companies that have done invaluable work to get or keep Americans connected. My advisory board and I received over 60 applications, all of them showcasing how actions and teamwork have benefited the connectivity needs of their communities. But you all were chosen specifically because of your outstanding achievements in this digital inclusion space. The actions you have taken during these unprecedented times have helped to close the digital divide in thousands of households across this nation. It is too much to put into words the work that you are doing, but some stats. Collectively, you have provided 600,000 students with the ability to stay connected through low-cost options and access to devices. You have constructed thousands of miles of rural connectivity and provided connections to 16,000 public housing units. Through your actions, you have provided thousands of job skills and trained, and you have supported families in the economy as well in these times. Your work has impacted all 50 states. I'm proud to say that, from urban to rural, and in homes and sometimes even parking lots. It is clear that the 2020 DOER honorees have given families more stability, more hope, more confidence that we will pull through this crisis together. And with that, I want to, again, just personally thank all of you, each of you, for your hard work and for the high bar that you have set for others that are watching, for other companies, other organizations, other advocates who wish to create and sustain a more equitable future. We're all in this together. And so I'd like to give a sincere thanks as well to the DOER Advisory Board for all of their help in selecting today's honorees. It was hard work, to be sure. And so for my audience today, we're trying to run a program a little bit like the Emmys mixed with the Brady Bunch here. So stick with us, bear with us. Hopefully we won't have any hiccups. But as folks pop up on the screen, I wanted to make sure that they have a way to be honored and certainly recognized by their friends or families over the next half hour. And so right now, I'm going to turn it over to Angela Seifer from the National Digital Inclusion Alliance. She needs no introduction for those who know this space. She serves as the executive director there at NDIA, and she will be recognizing the individual and small group doers this afternoon. So Angela, the floor is yours, and thank you again for your help with me and in the program.
Thank you, Commissioner Starks. I'm super excited to be with you today. I can't tell you how much we appreciate Commissioner Stark's focus on digital equity. It is incredibly important to the work that we're all doing, and this DOER event is part of that. So thank you. Even pre-COVID, what I've heard called the before days, which I totally love, and I'm going to keep using that, getting folks connected to the internet, to devices, to digital literacy training, it's been local. And now that's true even more, that the way that things happen is by neighbor to neighbor in communities coming up with solutions. And that's what we're honoring today. I am proud to be one of those folks being able to introduce our doers. They are digital equity heroes. They're the ones doing that hard work on the ground. One of the ways we can celebrate them is next week, Digital Inclusion Week. It is a place, it is an online event for us to be able to say, here are the heroes in our communities. Here are the solutions, here are the barriers, and to keep drawing attention, not in the vague kind of way I feel like has happened so far, but let's dig into the details. Let's figure out how we really get to solutions. You can find more information about that at digitalinclusion.org. On that webpage, you will see a rock star video of Commissioner Starks, who did a fabulous job getting into why digital equity is important. Okay, so my first group of honorees, please turn on your cameras. As Commissioner Stark said, we're going to do this like the Emmys. So they're going to have I'm sure they've all come up with really special waves for us. I think we're waiting for just a couple. I see Cindy. Great, there's Russ. Look, it really is like boom, 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 like the Emmys. And Monica. Mike Gaffney's not able to join us today. These are our folks from the state of Washington: Monica Babine, Mike Gaffney, Cindy Aiden, and Russ Elliott. Congratulations to you all. And now we're going to move into our second group of doers. This is another small group, just like with our folks from Washington. These folks work together often. Group number 2, if you would please turn on your cameras and prepare your wave. Excellent. So we see, look at that, Matt Rantanen, Jeff Blackwell, Irene Flannery. We are so very honored to have you with us today, and we appreciate everything you are doing. All right, my next group are the individual doers. Individual doers, if you would turn on your cameras for us, please. So these are folks that are being recognized for the individual work that each of them are doing. We are so very proud that they are with us today. Leslie Morissette, give a wave. Josh Edmonds. Nishal Mohan. And Dr. Keisha Taylor. Thank you so much for everything you do. And now I'm going to turn it over to back to the commissioner.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And so we are going to move along to the organizations that have won a DOER award. So Elizabeth Lindsay is the CEO of Bite Back, based right here in Washington, D.C. Glad to have you with me. And so thank you for helping me honor the amazing work of nonprofits in this category. So Elizabeth, please take it away.
Sure. Thank you so much, Commissioner Starks. It's been incredible to be able to read through all of these applications, and I feel honored to be on this call with all of you. Nonprofits have been at the forefront of racial equity, social justice, digital equity for hundreds of years in our country. And over the past 20 years, we were often the organizations and the people who were really sounding the alarm about the growing digital divide and about the fact that the individuals who have always been left behind in our economy and society have continued to be left behind as we become a tech-based country and economy. Since COVID, nonprofits have done an amazing job of pivoting, many of us bringing our services online, many of us dealing with serious resource constraints while also getting devices and broadband and training into the hands of thousands of people in the communities that most need it. And so it is my absolute pleasure to recognize all of the organizational nonprofit doers who will be recognized today. So if I could please have the 5 nonprofit awardees to turn on your cameras, that would be wonderful. Okay, let's see. I think we might be missing one person. Oh, we just lost someone. Give it a second. Okay, great. Thank you all. It's wonderful to see you. So today I am just so thrilled to be able to recognize your incredible work with your organizations. So representing America's libraries, we have Julius Jefferson, president of the American Library Association. Libraries have been such an essential partner across the country for digital equity and digital access. So congratulations. Next, we have Eileen Harris, VP of Business Development at Human IT. Hello, Eileen, congratulations. We have Bill Soward, the Executive Director of Shelter Tech. Hello. From Tech Goes Home, we have Dan Noyes. Hi, Dan. How you doing? And last up, we have David Vinson, the Superintendent of Warner Public Schools. Thank you all for the amazing work that you've done in this space. You know, I know there's no money attached to this award, which is hard for us nonprofit leaders, but this is just such an incredible recognition. And thank you for really making our country a better place and really supporting those who need this access more than ever. So I'm going to ask that you all turn off your computers, or your cameras, not your computers, and I'll turn it back over to Commissioner Starks. Thank you so much.
Well, great. Back to me. Can I have Angela tap back in really quickly for the individuals? I think you have the information. Can you name their affiliations, just to make sure that folks know what a real cross section that is represented here? No need for them to video back in, but just a quick reading, I think. Does that make sense, Angela?
Yeah, because I totally failed to do it earlier when I was supposed to. I just sent one of your staff an apology that I had one job and I failed my one job. So let's do that again. Josh Edwins is the Director of Digital Inclusion for the City of Detroit. Dr. Nishal Mohan is the founder of MoHuman. Leslie Morissette is the founder and CEO of Grahamtastic Connection, and Dr. Keisha Taylor serves as the National Education Administrator for T-Mobile for Education. We so appreciate all of them, and they all do amazing work, and I apologize from the bottom of my heart.
No need truly, Angela. I keep saying, like a lot of folks on this, we are all doing so many Zooms that a little bit of grace and courtesy for all of us operating. So no worries. And I really did just want to make sure that folks knew what a tremendous across the spectrum we have there. And so last but not least, of course, I am going to turn to the program over to Antonio Tijerino, who is the president and CEO of Hispanic Heritage Foundation and serves on my advisory board. Thank you, Antonio, for all of the hard work that you've done in this space for Latinx communities and for helping to honor our corporate doers here today. Floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner Starks, for inviting me to speak at the inaugural Digital Opportunity Equity Recognition Virtual Reception, and for the privilege of serving on your advisory board for this important program. As the president of the Hispanic Heritage Foundation, I'm deeply invested in empowering Latinx communities, especially in the tech sector. We're teaching 100,000 youths how to code through our Code as a Second Language program, and that was challenging before COVID in terms of connectivity at schools and community centers. Now we have to do it virtually in their homes, where access to Wi-Fi and devices is even more critical to basic education and workforce development. The challenges have gotten even broader, and the digital divide, or as I call it, the tech equity gap, has gotten much bigger. That gap is negatively impacting our communities that are relying more than ever on internet to access not just education, but also job opportunities, information, healthcare, and can even limit the ability to mobilize our communities during a time of social unrest. And you've said, Commissioner Sparks, our policies and all of us in this space, we have to meet the moment. This is not a time to be patient. We need that sense of urgency, and our K through 12 students are suffering the most. We did a national study that found that Latino students were most likely to say their grades suffered because of a lack of access to broadband, to say that their homework suffered because of a lack of access, and most likely to say they used a smartphone to complete homework or fill out college applications. And this is interesting. We also found that teachers and Latinx parents were most difficult to communicate with because the parents lack access to the internet to send emails and share updates about their own children. It was not a language barrier. It was an internet barrier. And this was before COVID. The chances of Latinx students having both a computer and high-speed internet access is about half as non-Latinos. How much more are we supposed to do here? I mean, many of the students live in rural areas, urban centers, low-income communities, border towns, and Puerto Rico, which means the challenges of the digital divide are even more widespread. Additionally, the future of work is dependent on how quickly we can get everyone connected to broadband. And if this gap persists, studies show that we'll have negative consequences, with 76% of Black people, 62% of Latinos being shut out or underrepresented for 86% of US jobs by 2045. So then you wonder why Black and Latinos are so dramatically underrepresented in tech jobs. I think that mystery is solved, but now we need to solve the problem. And I know that solving the problem and the future of work has been a policy issue that you, Commissioner Starks, has weighed in on loudly during your time at the Commission. And that's why this is an area that some of these DOER honorees represented today have been creatively and diligently working on. I applaud you, I thank you, and I'm counting on you. The Commissioner and everyone on this virtual gathering understand that it's because of our community's ability to connect to broadband that we're able to move forward, not just as an economy in education, but as a country as well. I have the privilege of honoring our corporate doers who stepped up and answered the call of communities in need of broadband access and devices across this nation, especially during this pandemic. Their work serves as a reminder that corporate responsibility and public-private partnerships are the key to solving issues of the digital divide. Thank you all for making the investment in our communities, even when it was economically challenging. And at time of crisis, when many were stepping back, all of you have stepped up. So I hope other companies follow in your footsteps, by the way, not just during the crisis, but in years to come. So let me introduce and have you turn on your cameras, please. Group one. So first, there are all those smiling faces, one by one. So first we have Christy Westbrock, General Manager and CEO of Consolidated Telecommunications Company. Next, we have Hill Country Telephone Cooperative, and here representing HCTC is CEO Craig Cook. Thanks, Craig. And next, corporate doer is Hori Telephone Cooperative, represented by HTC's Marketing Coordinator, Leslie Causse. Next up is Michael Burke, CEO of Matanuska Telephone Association in Alaska, which means you really woke up early and are more dedicated than anybody for being here with us today. And last from this first group of corporate doers is Justin Forday, Senior Director of Government Relations at Midco. Thank you all so much. I ask that you turn your cameras off. We're going to prepare for the second group. All right, second group. Turn on your cameras and turn on those smiles. Okay, first up is Scott Bannett, owner of Nishanet in Iowa. Next up, representing NTUA Wireless, we have Valina Toise, Deputy General Manager. We will now honor Paul Bunyan Communications, and here representing Paul Bunyan Communications is CEO Gary Johnson. Thanks, Gary. Next up, we have Star Inc., and we have representing, thank you so much for being here with us. Also, we're honoring Trico Connections, and here representing them is Bill Gursky, Senior Vice President of Business Development. And lastly, please welcome Rory Conaway, CEO of Triad Wireless. Thank you all for your hard work in closing the digital divide. Congratulations to all your accomplishments. It's going to take all of us. And thank you again, Commissioner Starks.
Thank you, Antonio. More than anything, I wanted to make sure that people across the telecom spectrum know the hard work that everyone is doing, that you all are to be honored here today. I look forward to the continued hard work. Again, thank you all. Congratulations on the achievement, and let's continue to work hard to close this digital divide. So everyone, please feel free to give yourselves a hand, an extra pat on the back, a short breath, and then let's keep getting back to work. Thank you all for joining me for this inaugural DOER reception. See you down the trail.